Before we begin the Quatermass 2, we'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
This is BBC Television.
BBC Television, 1 o'clock.
This is BBC Television.
This is BBC Television.
Over to the newsroom.
This is BBC One.
BBC One. Now, the first programme in a new series.
The time is 6 o'clock, and here's the weather forecast. Northern areas will be cold with wintry showers, some heavy, perhaps of hail. Wales and southern half of England will be rather cloudy with a few light showers.
Top of the pops now, and at 8 o'clock, Softly Softly.
This is BBC One.
The next programme now on BBC Two is The Virginian. This is BBC One.
Although we must leave that film about the years when comedy was king. It replaced the published programme Black Panther, which will now be shown in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
This is BBC One. Now our special programme.
BBC One. And we must apologise for the delay in starting our next programme. We've just been informed that our star comedian is having a little difficulty in getting to the studio.
Here on BBC One, 24 Hours with Kenneth Alsop.
Now with the time at 5 to 5, Blue Peter.
Now on BBC One, the news followed at 9:25 by Cannon.
And now on BBC One, the first of this afternoon's programmes for children, Play School, introduced by Julie Stevens and Johnny Ball.
There'll be further comment on the budget in the evening news at 5:40, and the Chancellor of the Exchequer will be interviewed in the Tonight programme at 11:15 this evening. And now on BBC One, we're joining the Pink Panther.
Well, now, here's tonight's weather details from Barbara Edwards.
And Christmas evening on BBC One continues with the world television premiere of the feature film starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
In today's Pebble Mill, there's a visit to Kraft's Dog Show and a look at a potential winner in the world of two-wheelers, the very latest in motorbikes. The music in today's programme is provided by Con, Deck and John, the Bachelors, and Pebble Mill is at 1 o'clock. Now on BBC One, the midday news at 12:45 with Richard Baker.
Well, now on with our programmes for Christmas Eve, and at 11 o'clock Elvis Presley stars in one of his most popular and famous films, G.I. Blues. First, Noel Edmonds presents a very special, seasonal swap of the pops.
Christmas Day entertainment on BBC One. And Mike Yarwood, entertainment for Christmas Day on BBC One.
Some programmes this coming bank holiday weekend on BBC One. Some programmes for the coming bank holiday weekend here on BBC One.
Some programmes for Monday evening on BBC One. At 6:50...
Programmes tomorrow night on BBC One.
And now our evening feast of entertainment begins. In 45 minutes, the Mike Yarwood Christmas show, but before that, Michael Crawford in Some Others Do Have 'Em.
A look at the weather details now with Anne Purvis.
For the new season on BBC One, there's a whole world of comedy. With more... A wealth of comedy from a world of entertainment for the new season on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, our feature film for this afternoon. Errol Flynn and Dean Stockwell are the stars of the swashbuckling Rudyard Kipling adventure set in India. Kim.
Entertainment for Saturday night on BBC One. At 6:15, it's the Pop Quiz.
Good morning. In just over 2 minutes, BBC One's programme of Gaelic for beginners. Can Shaw.
And before we leave you, a reminder that there's music and entertainment and a conversation on Radio 2 now. At the moment there's Peter Marshall with his late show, and that's followed at 2 o'clock in the morning by you and the night and the music, and you can listen to that all the way through until 5 o'clock. But from us here on BBC One, with the time just coming up to 2 minutes past 1, that brings us to the end of our evening. Thank you for your company, and may we now wish you all a very good night. Good night to you.
Well, now, the time is almost 26 minutes past 12, and BBC One is closing down. A reminder, as usual, that Radio 2 will be on the air all night. At the moment, it's Peter Marshall's late show, followed at 2 o'clock by You and the Night and the Music. That's on Radio 2, but now from all of us here, this is Peter Brook wishing you a very good night.
Christmas on BBC One.
First, some of the funniest men in show business are introduced by Michael Parkinson.
So now on BBC One at 5 to 11, Grandstand with Frank Boff. Good morning to you from BBC One. In a few minutes we're showing another nostalgic interlude from BBC Television's post-war years. This time the location is Jamaica, where we're soothed by the sight of a palm beach. To take us there, here's some guitar music called Blue Part Invention, which was often heard on BBC Television between 1963 and 1965. Cricket from Headingley follows in a few minutes. Before that, we hope to revive a few memories by showing a nostalgic interlude film used on BBC Television during the 1950s, Palm Beach.
And now on BBC One, the first of our Christmas holiday feature films has an international cast headed by Sophia Loren, Stephen Boyd, Alec Guinness and James Mason. It tells of the fall of the Roman Empire.
Entertainment for all the family. Christmas Eve on BBC One. At 5. A giant package of entertainment for Christmas Sunday on BBC One. More entertainment for Christmas on BBC One. In Ben-Hur.
Entertainment for Wednesday evening on BBC One. Entertainment for New Year's Eve on BBC One.
And now Jubilee Jackanory with Jan Francis. Today's story was the very first Jackanory, broadcast in 1965.
Now on BBC One, the new adventures of Mighty Mouse.
At 2:30 this afternoon, The Magic of Lassie, a spectacular musical adventure with the world's most famous canine star. First on BBC One, an animated adventure as we go around the world with Dot.
And that just about wraps things up for this Christmas Eve. Indeed, the early minutes of Christmas morning. The time now, well, rapidly approaching 5 minutes to 1 o'clock. For some of you, no doubt, tomorrow will bring all the usual joy and bustle of a family Christmas, but I know there are others of you who may well be spending this special time rather more quietly. So as we say goodnight, whatever tomorrow brings, all of us here on BBC One wish you simply a happy Christmas. Good night.
With the best of Horses Galore. And on BBC One now we join Bob Wilson for Olympic Grandstand.
but from the city of Los Angeles to a town like Alice.
Well, just one more day to go before Desmond Lynam must surely get his gold medal for Olympic overnights. The time now, 11 minutes past 4, and we're going to wish you a very good morning.
BBC One, another big deal for Robbie Box comes after half an hour of ever-decreasing circles, what might be described as a curtain raiser here on One, as Frank Boff and Selina Scott take the wraps off BBC Television's Christmas Time.
Well, time marches on and we're about to turn in, but before we do go, a reminder that Radio 2 is currently warming the night airwaves with the sounds of jazz presented by Peter Clayton. Now, though, from all of us on BBC One, this is Mark Waddington wishing you a very peaceful night. Good night to you.
So we continue now with part 1 of a new series featuring Christopher Lillicrap, Busker's Christmas Story.
First on BBC One, a feast of international showmanship in the Paul Daniels Magic Christmas Show.
Now, on BBC One, a brand new look to launch the early evening lineup. At 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, drama with the EastEnders. On Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, the live and lively entertainment is provided by Terry Wogan.
BBC One's Christmas package includes children's entertainment like Watership Down. Children's entertainment, all part of BBC One's bumper Christmas package.
BBC One's package of Christmas Eve entertainment starts at 7 o'clock. A feast of entertainment for Christmas Day on BBC One begins at 5. A feast of entertainment for Boxing Day on BBC One.
We'll be joined by a rather confused pantomime cow in half an hour for a bit of fun with Terry and June. On BBC One first, it's A Question of Sport. And some familiar faces from the world of entertainment team up for A Question of Sport in 30 minutes. First, Kenny Everett's been at the classics and he's come up with A Christmas Carol.
So, if you're going out watching some of that traditional Boxing Day sport, it'll probably be best to wrap up warm, or alternatively stay in and tune to Radio 2 for Boxing Day Sports Special, with coverage of the day's football and racing, plus some offbeat holiday entertainment. And before that, at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Terry Wogan, having beat a hasty retreat from Denver, will be taking time off telly to try a tune or two on the turntable with his star choice. Our Christmas-feathered friends, the Robins, will be turning the tables of BBC One tomorrow with more entertainment. Hope you can join us for some of that. But I now leave you with the familiar sight of the world going by. From all of us here on BBC One, this is David Miles wishing you a very happy Christmas and a peaceful night. Good night.
And now on BBC One, our horror movie. And you may never feel the same again about those lazy days of sun and sand after Blood Beach.
There's a great evening of entertainment for Easter Monday here on BBC One. At 5:20, The Delights of Disney.
Traditional bank holiday entertainment tonight on One with an international...
With news of Christmas Day, here's Noel Edmonds.
Tonight, and here on One, we're off to Jersey now for a special feature-length episode starring John Nettles as Bergerac.
It's Christmas Eve and...
But
first, we enter a powerful underworld of master criminals as Michael Caine, Noel Coward and Benny Hill attempt to bring off a daring bullion robbery in The Italian Job.
While the Crabtree family wait in the wings with No Place Like Home, a look at Tuesday night on BBC One and bad news for Lockton.
There's a spectacular look to Sunday evening entertainment on BBC One.
In a moment, Terry Wogan entertains his Friday guests. And then at 7:40, a right royal occasion, hosted by Stuart.
There's an exciting new lineup of entertainment on BBC One for Saturday nights.
Called Wogan to a man called Horse. Monday evening here on BBC One has it all, including top marks from the girls for the head of the class at 7:35.
Girls, can't I walk into my own school?
First on BBC One, it's back to Annika Rice, who's getting on with her challenge for Children in Need.
It's Christmas Eve on BBC One as we don our Christmas look and depart from Britain's gloomy December to visit sunny Melbourne, home of the Neighbours.
Christmas on BBC One. Paul Daniels, Reek 7:25 on BBC One.
Well, surely on the cards now on BBC One is a performance of The Disc, which reached that prestigious position of #1 at Christmas, as well as many of the other hits and videos of '87, presented by Mike Smith and Gary Davis in our Top of the Pops Christmas party.
It's the BBC's account of how it spent your money last year, making programmes for radio and television, drama, comedy, news and sport, and a lot more besides. So that's our account. Now it's your turn to tell us what you think.
Thursday entertainment on BBC One. Featured in Top of the Pops this week are Bros, Erasure and Aswad. Then at
BBC One presents a major new season of films. Sunday premiere. 8 major new films for the new season on BBC One.
Okay, stay with us. Comic Relief.
So now on BBC One, here we go with 8 hours of entertainment as we don our red noses and hand over to Comic Relief.
And for the rest of Friday evening on BBC One, it's back to Terry Wogan and his guests who continue the appeal for children in need.
It's a trip back in time now, as Christmas 1942 is our stopping point for an EastEnders special. Welcome to Civvy Street. And now, with red noses firmly in place, we return to our night of comic relief.
This is BBC One, joining forces with Pudsey Bear at the start of what will hopefully be a record-breaking evening for Children in Need, which is celebrating tonight its 10th anniversary. So now let's join Andy Peters and Lisa Jones for 3 whole hours of Christmas Children's BBC.
And now on BBC One, a very special guest joins Wogan in Hollywood.
In 10 minutes, we've our next schedule. Well, now on BBC One, anything can happen in the next 2 hours as the lights are flashing as we cross over to Studio 7, where Philip and Sarah are going live. Now on BBC One, the weekend weather prospects with Bernard Davey.
Now on BBC One, in place of our published programme at this time, stay tuned, we've a Tom and Jerry double bill, starting with Penthouse Mouse.
And it brings us to 11.5 minutes past 1. BBC One is closing down for the evening. May I, as is customary at this time, remind you about our colleagues on radios 1, 2 and 5. Radios 1 and 2 offer you a variety of music and conversation through the night, and Radio 5, 6 mainly to the conversation. But they're there just for you, so why don't you join them? But for me, Richard Straker, on behalf of all of my colleagues here on BBC One, it is time to wish you a warm and peaceful good night. Good night.
A very good morning to you and welcome to our programmes on BBC One. But just before we start, on behalf of everyone at BBC Television, we'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas. So now we begin by unwrapping a bumper package of programmes for our younger viewers. Well, first on BBC One, let's find out what's in store for us weather-wise on Christmas Day with Bill Giles.
Drama, new for 92 on BBC One. New drama, new for 92 on BBC One.
A little rough around the edges, but with an antique charm all of their own now, it's Campo, Foggy and Clegg enjoying the last of the summer wine.
The new season of Omnibus on BBC One. This winter on BBC One.
Right. Addicts returns Monday at 7 on BBC One.
Author Jung Chang relives the writing of Wild Swans. Omnibus, followed by the London Films classic The Ghost Goes West, Tuesday on BBC One.
Galaxy this Saturday night on BBC One.
Well, this is where BBC One hands over to Zoe and Chris for Christmas Eve Children's BBC.
Well, now, it's already a white Christmas in some parts of the country. What about the rest of us? With the details, here's Peter Cockcroft. A movie premiere for Christmas night now on BBC One, starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg in Oscar-winning form. Ghost.
Brand new comedy on BBC. Y'all ready for this?
New drama on BBC One.
New.
Before that, cartoon confrontation for Popeye.
A very happy Christmas to you all, and good morning from BBC One. We begin our Christmas day with Zoe Ball and Chris Jarvis and Children's BBC.
All change for Sunday night on BBC One, and it's...
You'll love the new flavour of Tuesdays on BBC.
Sunday on BBC One, and don't you feel for the piano?
The entertainment superhighway brings you Saturday night on BBC.
A bumbling detective at work in the first of our stocking fillers here on BBC One, the comic genius of Peter Sellers as Inspector Clouseau.
Saturday night on BBC One, and that's Saturday night on BBC One. Saturday night on BBC One.
First on BBC One, a special Christmas edition of A Question of Sport.
A magical start to...
Hello, very good morning and welcome to BBC One on Saturday the 4th of October with a brand new look. It's up and away as far as Mars now on BBC One for Flash Gordon. A fun-packed morning ahead now on BBC One with CBBC. Just before Grandstand here on BBC One, time to find out what the weather holds in store with Peter Cockcroft.
And now on BBC One, the lunchtime news with Moira Stewart. Time for the news now on BBC One with Moira Stewart at 5:20. A bolt of lightning sends robot number 5 AWOL with a childish taste for mischief now on BBC One. Madcap misadventure in Short Circuit.
Patching up the casualties of love and war now on BBC One to Holby A&E.
This is BBC One. Now, who got the good night's sleep then?
To get you in the mood, a thrilling monster of a movie now on BBC One from Steven Spielberg. Get ready to hide behind the sofa. Something big and very scary is lurking in widescreen in Jurassic Park.
This is BBC One On Side with John Infidale. Big names, big movies. Director Ridley Scott on Gladiator on Film 2000 at 11:10. BBC One in widescreen.
Demi Moore and Jeff Daniels star in romantic film comedy The Butcher's Wife in a few minutes on BBC One after The Weather View from Isabel Lang.
And BBC One's Olympic coverage just 50 minutes away after a chinwag with the Master.
This is BBC One with Euro 2000. Now on BBC One, we're joining BBC News 24.
It's the classic crime movie Robbery on BBC One after The Weather View with Isabel Lang.
Good morning and welcome to Christmas Eve here on BBC One. It's nice to see you up nice and early, getting in some practice for tomorrow. Right, let's kick the day off and hot-foot it to Lapland. It's CBBC with Michael and Angelica. Hope you've got your woolies on though.
Everything comes to those who wait now on BBC One, providing they push the buzzer. A favour for a favour now on BBC One, trying to do the right thing in Casualty.
Now on BBC One, BBC News 24.
When a surgeon's patient dies under mysterious circumstances, Quincy investigates. That's in 20 minutes here on BBC One.
And before Parky, the National Lottery Jet Set and Casualty. BBC One on Saturday night.
And
And right now on BBC One, some strong language and lots of passion. Tennis, is it just a game?
Saucy film comedy for Sunday afternoon now on BBC One. Is there a doctor in the house?
A major new series starts tonight, going deeper than ever before. The Blue Planet at 9 o'clock here on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, in a change to the schedule, a unique event staged to raise funds and lift spirits after the recent tragedies in America. In an unprecedented collaboration between all the American TV networks and a huge list of some of the biggest names in entertainment, live from New York and Los Angeles, America, a tribute to heroes.
Good intentions backfire in Casualty in 35 minutes. But first on BBC One, it's The Stuff of Dreams, a new series of chances to join the National Lottery. Jet Set. She was one once, but will it make Anne Robinson more sympathetic? What do you think? A Weakest Link TV presenter special at 5 here on BBC One.
Well, it's nearly 2 hours into 2002, and on behalf of the late team here at BBC One, this is Dean Lydiot wishing you a very happy and prosperous new year. We've a cracking lineup for New Year's Day, starting with Disney's Snowball Express at 5:25. That's just a few hours away. But for now, for the rest of the night, BBC One hands over to BBC News 24 for the latest stories at the top of the hour.
A sailing holiday in Turkey with Craig Doyle and Danny Minogue, your guide to Melbourne. That's tonight from 7 here on BBC One.
Through the night now on BBC One with BBC News 24.
This is BBC One, now the news and sport with Peter Sissons and Hazel Irvin.
BBC One entering the future.
now on BBC One, and for the rest of the night, we join BBC News 24.
One more reunion before they down tools for good. An Auf Wiedersehen Pet special begins here on BBC One tonight at 9. Film fantasy adventure now, though, as Kirsten Dunst stars in Small Soldiers.
Looks like Christmas starts here and now on BBC One, and the excitement's too much. This is the big one, the Strictly Come Dancing final.
A very good morning to you and a warm welcome to a new look for BBC One with a brand new high-action adventure, Robin Hood, kicking off in a very major way this Saturday night at 7:05.
So a past case comes back to haunt Nikki in Silent Witness in an hour, but first on BBC One, bravado hides the truth in EastEnders. So, celebrities testing their memories of the past 12 months now on BBC One. See how much you remember as Graham Norton hosts The Big Finish.
Now, have you heard this? Gabby Logan and husband Kenny in sequins for Strictly Come Dancing. Coming soon to Saturday nights on BBC One.
Now a double bill of fantastic films for Christmas afternoon here on BBC One. Go green with Shrek 2 at 5:20. But first, discover a whole new world beneath the waves in the network premiere of Finding Nemo.
Bringing their surgery to you, the Street Doctors are back for a new series in half an hour here on BBC One, right after The One Show.
With millions of young people out of work and not in training, Panorama challenges 4 young men to get out of bed and get a job in half an hour on BBC One. Four GPs pound the pavements on a mission to improve the nation's health. A new series of Street Doctor in half an hour here on BBC One.
Including an exclusive interview with controversial gold medalist Christina Hurgu, Inside Sport is in 40 minutes. First on BBC One, telling the story behind the making of some of our best-loved films. Some strong language in the first of a new series, Movie Connections. Chips, cheese and gravy. Not terribly good for the waistline. Urgent dietary advice required from the Street Doctors here on BBC One in half an hour, right after The One Show. Just when he thought it couldn't get any worse, a delivery to make Ian's blood run cold. EastEnders in half an hour, here on BBC One.
The Antiques Roadshow comes from the beautiful setting of Alnwick Castle in Northumberland in an hour. First on BBC One, Teenage Kicks for a unique group of 14-year-olds.
Last time Piers Morgan clashed with model Naomi Campbell, it wasn't a pretty sight. Stand well back for the reunion. You can't find me, I'm famous at 10:35. Harry and Leo are left to pick up the pieces now on BBC One in Silent Witness.
What is he letting himself in for? Abs tries to help Ruth improve her people skills in Casualty. Before that on BBC One, the big quiz challenge of 1 versus 100.
Mrs. Warboys is overstaying her welcome at the Meldrews, but Victor's strangely calm. 1 foot in the grave here on BBC One after our Wednesday visit to Lottery HQ. So, a laundry challenge, but who will be hung out to dry? The Apprentice continues in an hour. First on BBC One, car criminals with a bad case of amnesia.
Well now, with some strong language on BBC One and BBC HD, the weather's a top talking point with Andrew Marr in Britain from above. Friday night, BBC One. So, who's going to have us barking up the wrong tree? With some strong language, would I lie to you?
Well, I was hoping to be a little more original, but oh well. Merry Christmas. From me, Duncan Newmarch, all the team here on BBC One. And the turkey. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Max has nothing left to lose, except Tanya and the kids, of course. Phil lets the cat out of the bag, EastEnders, in an hour. First on BBC One, it's The One Show with bells on.
And also tonight, The Impressions Show at 9:25. But right now on BBC One and the BBC HD channel, let's make Saturday night sparkle.
Terror lurks on planet Mars, an explosive Doctor Who on BBC One tonight at 7. But right now, on stage, Black Eyed Peas, JLS, Pixie Lott and loads more as we hook up with the BBC HD channel for BBC Switch Live.
So a desperate race to stop a nuclear war, a nail-biting end to the series for Spooks tonight at 9. Right now on BBC One, it's The One Show.
Rocket Ronnie versus John Higgins in the second semi-final of the UK Championship Snooker. We'll be there from 1. First on BBC One, it's Football Focus.
Now on BBC One, the latest news with Michelle Hussain.
Their mission is to take the title of Master Chef, but the hard work's only just begun. More cooks face the pressure in half an hour on BBC One. First though, what a howler.
And before the circus rolls into town, here's The One Show.
A quick look at the news and weather now on BBC One and BBC One HD with Sophie Rayworth. So, from kitchen table to the supermarket shelves, can they do it? Find out later at 9. But right now on BBC One and the BBC HD channel, we're putting science to the test. So now on BBC One, this is it, celebrating 25 years with the first ever live episode. Who do you think killed Archie, and what's to become of Bradley? Expect the unexpected and the aftermath straight after on BBC Three. This is EastEnders Live.
Boxing heavyweight David Haye guests on the Graham Norton show in 45 minutes after a close encounter with an Ashes warrior.
And it all kicks off tomorrow with a special One Show live at 7. But right now, in high definition on BBC One HD with some strobe lighting possible, it's the ultimate Pudsey party. Children in Need rocks Manchester.
It's Branning Week on EastEnders and sparks fly when Max discovers the truth about Tanya. Tonight at 8 on lovely little old BBC One Possum.
Oh, so are you feeling festive yet? Consider yourself part of it all here on BBC One and BBC One HD as we head into December. And right now you're going to need that Christmas jumper on because we're headed somewhere very, very chilly. Yes, we're on the road to Wembley at 5 to 7. Last night we broke all the records and now on BBC One, as a way of saying thank you, here's all the best from Pudsey.
So, not to be missed tonight, 2 dances from the 5 remaining couples. Before that on BBC One, Christmas is almost here. Our decorations are up, and round at the Harpers, it's a chance to eat, drink, and be grumpy.
Davina McCall gets into a bit of a muddle in a photo booth in the Impression show at 5 to 3. But first, in high definition on BBC One HD, the news of the week from Walford.
Sunday night drama in an hour. Martin Shaw is Inspector George Gently. Before that on BBC One, Fiona Bruce has a head for heights. This is BBC One, and with the news now, Michelle Hussain.
BBC One, it's showtime, so let's switch on the lights in Albert Square and hope no one blows a fuse.
It's showtime.
Oh.
Yes, take your places as BBC One lifts the curtain on our film premieres for Christmas Day. At this time of year, wishes have a habit of coming true, even for ogres.
Now imagine Christmas Day.
Well, we all knew Tom could sing, but Hugh playing the piano, now that's a gift. The decorations are up on BBC One, so we can officially say we're merrily on the way to the prospect of having a wonderful Christmas. The festive season is a shared experience with us, so keep a lookout for all we've got to give to you. The perfect Saturday night present now. It's Strictly.
This is BBC One, and now at 3 o'clock, Her Majesty the Queen. And after Doctor Who tonight, Janine has Murder in Mind on EastEnders. On BBC One now, for the midwives of London's East End, it really is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Yes, Strictly Sparkle at 5 after our big Christmas afternoon film, and it's a cracker. This is the highest grossing animated movie ever. On BBC One, the premiere of Toy Story 3.
Let's see if we can change things for you now on BBC One with a little help from the National Lottery Live. We're decking the halls for a magical Christmas here on BBC One, and you've just seen a taste of what's to come. Original British drama now, and Jason is not the only one who fears for the Queen's safety in Atlantis.
Brand new original British drama In the Club due at 9, and Holby City still to come on BBC One after EastEnders. And it's sink or swim for Mick.
Sunday night drama now on BBC One. There's a new member of the extended family to get to know in Last Tango in Halifax.
A private family matter is about to become public tonight. Last Tango in Halifax is here at 9. Now, though, there's a clash of wills in the sisterhood in Call the Midwife on BBC One. Welcome to Christmas and welcome to Little Sprout Boy on BBC One. The lights are on. We're all about giving, and there's a lot to love this Christmas. Here's a taster of things to come. We're feeling really festive now on BBC One. Lots of exciting things to look forward to and plenty of sparkle now we've officially switched on to Christmas. But not everyone's in high spirits in EastEnders. So the sinister campaign against the residents intensifies, and Smitty reveals a big secret tonight. Pure drama with Capital in an hour on BBC One. After Holby City. At 10 o'clock, it's the BBC News now on BBC One with Hugh Edwards.
Lots to come for Christmas Day here on BBC One, including The Croods at 11:50 and Top of the Pops later at 1:50. Songs of Praise is getting especially festive now, though, with Aled Jones.
It's falling asleep again. That's it, he's gone. Is he snoring?
Shaun the Sheep is running riot with the Farmers Llamas. Join us for some mischief at 1:20. First on BBC One, an action-packed and hilarious animated adventure for the whole family with The Croods.
Today on BBC One.
The BBC News this Christmas Day with Christian Fraser.
Films this Christmas on BBC One.
3, 2, 1. Now with a red button.
Have we got everything that we need?
To the kitchen next, and not a turkey in sight. These bakers are in for a surprise, but who doesn't love an unexpected visitor at Christmas?
Was Riding Hood a gun for hire?
Am I right in thinking you've been busy baking? Wow!
The Great Christmas Bake Off, now on BBC One.
I hope you're having a really good Christmas.
Now, do you want to build a snowman? Well, these little bonds may beat you to it. They're rather excited about introducing our Christmas film, as you'll see in just a moment.
The prequel to Monsters Inc., Monsters University is our film at 5. First though, relive some of the best TV moments of 2016. A World of Wonder with David Attenborough.
A new drama now on BBC One, and some scenes which some viewers may find upsetting in a new two-part Silent Witness.
The sunny side of January now on BBC One, as the snow clouds gather here and we hit Britain's deep freeze. Come on everyone, down to the beach.
Less than 2 weeks ago, the Manchester terror attack shook our nation and the world. Now, some of the biggest names in music come together in tribute to the victims and their loved ones. Tonight, this is the place for One Love. Some parts of the concert may contain flashing images.
There's no escape for wanted criminals at home or abroad. We're in hot pursuit of the fugitives in half an hour on BBC One. First, the pressure's all on the celebs.
The second round on today's Pointless has caught everyone out. They do know they have to score the least points, don't they? See if you can do better in 45 minutes. Before that, on BBC One, it's amazing what you can make out of nothing.
Well, ahead of Strictly's big launch show this Saturday night at 7, new judge Shirley Ballas gives us her first TV interview. Don't miss the One show at 7 on BBC One. Falling over in his shed doesn't stop one man from cracking jokes, and his hip. That's in an hour. More drama now on BBC One, and not surprisingly, we're heading back to the square.
Children in Need Night, all night here on BBC One, and what an evening it's been. As a result, we're running a tiny bit late, with Children in Need rocking the 80s, now at 1:45. First, and again a bit later, it's a special £1 million build from DIY SOS.
I knew my hair crimpers would be useful one day. Get ready for an 80s overload a little bit later than build now on BBC One. Sparkles, spangles, shoulder pads and leg warmers, none of it looks out of place as Children in Need rocks the 80s. Let's see what the weekend has in store now with weather for the week ahead. Well, it's been quite a night here on BBC One. Thanks for staying with us. We will leave you now with the BBC News Channel.
Doesn't it just warm the cockles of your heart on this cold Saturday night? Feel the love of the festive season as our decorations go up. Christmas together with BBC One and an early present to enjoy now. Here's Michael. tomorrow at 9. Right now on BBC One, Connie, what are you playing at? Now with the news for tonight on BBC One, Christian Fraser. American football highlights of the game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins here at 10 to midnight. First Premier League action on the pitch to catch up with on BBC One. Comedy starring Bruce Willis and Catherine Zeta-Jones in half an hour. Take a bet and lay the favourite on BBC One after the NFL show. So how do you make money for nothing? Perhaps upcycling some scaffold poles might hold the answer. Find out in 45 minutes after we escape on BBC One.
If you were standing on these tracks just 200 years ago...
Dom now on BBC One with today's bunch of misbehaviours in court red-handed.
This is BBC One.
Now, time to exercise our brains here on BBC One. The task is to be pointless at 5:15. And now, will you be able to outrun the hardball? A smorgasbord of spectacular displays can be found here on BBC One in half an hour as we pop along to the RHS Chelsea Flower Show. But now let's dive into an escape with Jules.
Welcome to today's Escape to the Country.
Well, if you are otherwise engaged this afternoon or just want to relive the whole thing all over again, now's your chance on BBC One. It's England versus Panama.
If my school lunches were anything like the ones Mary Berry's cooking later on, I would have done a lot better in school. Classic Mary Berry is here at 11:30. Before that, it's Saturday Kitchen Live.
If football is your thing, you could get sponsored to do 1,000 keepy ups for children in need. Just keep your eyes focused on that football.
Good evening, hope you've had a good day and you're ready for a smashing time here on BBC One. To kick things off, a brand new show from comedian Joe Lycett and the strangest array of timers you've ever seen.
At 20-5, we have all the latest from the football in Final Score. But now on BBC One, we head to Cardiff for live rugby union coverage as Wales take on Scotland.
That's about it from BBC One. Thanks for your company. It's all the latest through the night with us now as we join BBC News.
So before that, on BBC One, an hour of lively debate with David Dimbleby.
After we head into the jungle, BBC One pulls out another cracker. Meet Zog, the little dragon you've been hearing so much about. He's here at 4:50. Right now, adventure and vegetables with a couple of our old favourites.
You're watching BBC One on Christmas Day. Now at 3 o'clock, Her Majesty the Queen.
Make friends with our mythical dragon and the princess later on. They're a very individual pair. Right now, a prehistoric creature on BBC One. Discover an adventure on an epic scale with a good dinosaur.
Working 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton this Friday night. What a one-show guest at 7. Now on BBC One, The Runaway Pointless Pair.
Thank you, BBC Three. Now turn that music down. Now on BBC One, before we join the BBC News channel, here's the news for May 2018.
It was girls against guys for Celebrity Apprentice last night, but on International Women's Day did the ladies triumph at 9. Now, we're celebrating too with an all-girl announcer crew tonight.
I'm Sean on BBC Two.
And I'm Ash with you on BBC One, where it looks like Albert Square's also getting in on the action. Yep, see how our famous faces get on scaling new heights, climbing Killy. And with Red Nose Day next Friday, you've still got time to get involved. Just go online. Now on BBC One, who raised the most? The boardroom awaits.
Now, later than billed, Andrew Neil is here to review another busy week for Brexit.
We're into the afternoon on BBC One this Red Nose Day and ever closer to our celebs taking off ABBA. Comic Relief kicks off at 7. Now, an appointment with the doctors.
25 years have passed since they first tied the knot. So, who's getting married tonight? We're invited from 7. Now on BBC One, it's Money for Nothing.
Good evening to you on this International Day of Happiness. Reasons to be cheerful? In a change to some billings, we've an extra appointment at Holby tonight at 8. But first on BBC One, every day's a happy day for these cheery chappies.
It's Christmas! Hello, ho, ho from me, Anthony, and a very Merry Christmas from BBC One. We're off to Dragon School in half an hour with the very lovable Zog after things get a little bit sticky. Later on BBC One, some creatures just aren't made to stay in their shell. The epic tale of the snail and the whale is at 2:30. But first, let's breathe some fire into your Christmas morning. Right, I hope you've all got what you asked Santa for. I asked for a little bit of magic from Disney Pixar, and well, Santa's never let me down. Christmas Day wouldn't be complete without hitting the dance floor. A fun-filled Strictly Christmas special is here at 4:40. But before that, a tale of one girl and the gods. The brilliant Moana follows the news at 5:01. Now on BBC One this Christmas Day, your early afternoon news with Carrie Gracie. Now on BBC One, a BBC News special with Fiona Bruce.
Good morning. From today, you might notice our TV channels look a little bit different. We hope you like it. Right now on BBC One, it's time for breakfast. Hello, Wednesday morning. I'm Alison live with you on BBC One. Later, the stakes couldn't be higher for Sid. Doctors here at 1:45, but now Dom is bringing a delicacy to your door. One of the steepest gardens you'll ever see, a home in the Welsh Valleys, goes under the hammer on BBC One in half an hour after Naga.
Multiple suspects and motives, but nothing to connect them. Can't wait for that brand new series of Shetland, just an hour to go on BBC One. Easily enough time to mend some memories.
Wednesday nights always come with a warm fuzzy feeling here on BBC One as the repair shop opens its doors. A brand new episode tonight at 8. And we're back on track now, all aboard the 12:15.
Now on BBC One at 6 o'clock, the BBC News with Fiona Bruce.
We get to rootle around a new trio of homes that recently went under the hammer in half an hour. First, settle in for brilliant detective work. New expert witness.
Revving up for a road trip, Natasha is storming ahead. Can Raj catch her? We're in Kent in 45 minutes after a trip to the tip here on BBC One.
Our new series of Shetland is tomorrow night's 9 o'clock. New, who do they think you are now? Former footballer Alex Scott tackles a family history shrouded in silence.
Now on BBC One at 1 o'clock, the BBC News with Ben Brown.
Coming up on BBC One, the search is on for a home and holiday let. Escape to Cornwall with us in 45 minutes. But first, the coins are stacked. Here's Rick.
The BBC News at 10 o'clock with Hugh Edwards.
Join us this Friday night from 7 for the annual charity extravaganza that is Children in Need. And the DIY SOS team are doing their bit right now with an adventurous new big build.
Christmas laughter and comedy in Superworm today at 2:30 now on BBC One. Shaun the Sheep is all action and excitement, but will things take a sudden twist?
Around the World in 80 Days, new drama starring David Tennant travelling on another level, global. That's Boxing Day tomorrow at 5:50. Now our big Christmas Day movie premiere, Mary Poppins Returns.
Now on BBC One, the latest news this Christmas Day with Sean Lay.
This is BBC One on Christmas Day. Now at 3 o'clock, Her Majesty the Queen.
Christmas Day is well and truly underway. How about another chocolate, a mince pie, a fab family film? Well, your festive wish is my command now. The premiere of Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
Love Conquers All in Julia Donaldson's Smeds and Smooze, new animation here at 2:30. Now, grab a cuppa, or maybe pop a fizz, and cosy up for film time.
Have I Got News for You is back later at 9. Welcome to Friday night on BBC One. Bob Mortimer with one of the funniest stories yet, but is it true? Would I lie to you? The unseen bits from the last series in half an hour here on BBC One. This week's top 4 cook for last year's finalists. A place in the semi-finals at stake in MasterChef in half an hour. First on BBC One, new truths, new lies. Yes, looking forward to the new series, just half an hour away here on BBC One. Before that, let's cook. Bet you've done it. Send a rude text to the wrong person. Lee's desperately trying to limit the damage, not going out in half an hour. With some strong language, the headlines. First on BBC One, they're back. Mel Gibson in the Oscar-winning Braveheart tonight at 10:35. But right now on BBC One, with some adult humour, you know how it is. You push the send button and wish you hadn't. The news at 10 o'clock now on BBC One with Clive Myrie. Winner of no less than 5 Oscars, including one for its director and star, now on BBC One. Some strong language, graphic violent scenes and scenes of sexual violence in Braveheart.
We're house hunting in the stunning Yorkshire Dales at 2 this afternoon. Join Jules for another escape to the country. Now on 1, we're expanding the herb patch in the kitchen garden. Pointless Celebrities, a tribute to Tom Parker, who sadly passed away this week, here at 10 to 8 this evening. Now on 1, it's a huge weekend of football. Now on BBC One at 1 o'clock, Geeta Gurumurthy with the lunchtime news. Charlie and the Garden Rescue Team take inspiration from Asia and Morocco this afternoon at 3. Here on BBC One first, we're house hunting in the Yorkshire Dales.
Absolute Queens coming up on BBC One. The brand new series of Killing Eve continues in 40 minutes. First, though, dark things afoot down on the farm.
Welcome to Sunday afternoon, Anthony here, and it's time to hit the water. 3 long years, but the River Thames awaits as Cambridge take on Oxford, live in the boat race.
Hello and a very warm welcome to BBC One, starting the day with breakfast.
A warm welcome to Wednesday night on BBC One. Maria in the chair, looking forward to EastEnders in half an hour after last night's iconic showdown. Starting first, though, with The One Show.
Evening, Sian still with you live. We've a champion night ahead on BBC One. A MasterChef will be crowned. Don't miss the final at 8. And at 9, we're looking for Jewels of the Sea with Gordon's future food stars.
Dom Littlewood dons a hard hat. He's digging in to find out about construction work in 45 minutes. First, Kim and Ashley go after heartless thieves.
Sister from the same mister, brother from... Oh, it's all a bit confusing. The new series of The Other One will clear things up in an hour. First, if you think your family's bad, get a load of this lot.
Levelling up, is it working? Panorama investigates in half an hour. First on BBC One, an early morning shock for Janine.
Live coverage of the big moments of the parliamentary year, the state opening of Parliament. Prince Charles delivers the Queen's speech in half an hour on BBC One. Now, Dom delivers all things spicy.
Ever had the feeling you're being watched? Be careful, that new series of The Capture begins tomorrow at 9. Strong language now on BBC One, and that age-old question, who's the daddy?
Now on BBC One, the BBC News with Jane Hill.
Well, I grew up with Swap Shop, Radio 1's Top 40, and Peter Davison was the Doctor. How about you? Well, today it's the BBC's 100th birthday. Hopefully, Mary Berry's baked us something nice. Good morning. This is BBC One, live.
From Only Fools and Horses to PK Tonight, Ballycus Angel to Line of Duty, and Scene Around 6 to Strictly Come Dancing. Celebrations are very much in the air today because it's the 100th birthday of your BBC. A very good morning. You're watching BBC One Northern Ireland.
Well, I grew up with Blue Peter, Top of the Pops, and Colin Baker was the Doctor. What about you? Today it's the BBC's 100th birthday, and hopefully Mary Berry has baked us something tasty. Good morning to you. This is BBC One Scotland.
We're celebrating 100 years of the BBC today with a dance or two, naturally. October 18th, 2022, and you're always at home with BBC One.
Low scoring answers will see you through on Pointless in 45 minutes after Game On with Alex.